Galatians is kind of a parallel book to this. And in Galatians chapter 5, we're not going to turn there, but I'm going to quote it. He says, walk in the Spirit, and you'll not fulfill the lust of the flesh. What does it mean to walk in the Spirit? Does it mean some kind of a spooky, like I'm in a trance? And I think some people think that. If I can just get in the Spirit in some kind of a spooky trance, and I'm kind of out of my mind, and kind of everything's hazy and strange, and I'm in the Spirit, brother, and don't disturb me. It's not like that at all. And really, I think the reason people want it to be that way is we want something to we want the Holy Spirit to somehow come and overpower us and grab us by the neck and give us a good twist, and I'm going to make you do what's right, whether you want to or not. The Holy Spirit does not act that way. That's how demons act. The Holy Spirit does not act that way. He prompts us and leads us and guides us, but we always are in the position of responding to Him. So when we walk in the Spirit, it means make decisions in your life that are compatible and motivated by the Spirit that's on the inside. And I guarantee you, if you will be, as a Christian, if you'll take a moment before you make decisions, and not by that I mean at the points in our life when we could react different ways to different kinds of stimuli. If you'll take just a moment, you'll find out that on the inside of you, there is a voice, there is a Spirit that will prompt you and lead you to act as Christ would act. And I'm going to conclude with a little story that I've told you this before, and if you're sick of my little stories, I apologize for this, but I can't think of a better illustration. When I come home from work, I park my truck in the back of the house. And when I come home from work, like in the summertime, by that I mean I do farm work, and it's usually after dark, and I've been out there for 10, 12 hours, and I'm tired, and I'm dirty. I don't like being dirty. I like to be clean. I never planned to be a farmer. I didn't like to do greasy, dirty work, and I kind of, it wears me out to be dirty. And I come home, and I just want to take a shower. I just want to sit down in a chair and relax and drink a Diet Coke and just forget about being dirty for a while. So when I come home and drive up in the alley, the trash cans are back there, and I don't want to stop and deal with it. I just want to park the truck. Well, here's what this has happened more than once, but I remember one time in particular. I was really tired, and I was really frustrated, and it'd been a hard day, and I'm coming home, and I pull in the alley, and my neighbor's trash can, not my trash can, my neighbor's trash can, who live on the other side of the alley, they didn't, I guess, tie the trash can. Something happened, I don't know. Their trash can had blown out in the middle of the alley, and it was rolling around like that, and all their trash had come out, and it wasn't bagged right or something. It was all out of the bag. It was all loose, all over the alley and trash can. And the first thought that came into my mind is, I've got a four-wheel drive truck. I'm just going to put it in four-wheel drive, and heck with their trash can. I'm just going to, I'm just going to pretend like it was dark. I didn't see a trash can. I'll just drive over it, and when they come out tomorrow morning, they're going to have them a flat trash can, and they can deal with it. That's their problem. I'll be honest with you. That was my first thought. But you see, having talked about this so much, I knew better than, I knew that was the flesh. Would you recognize that as the flesh? Paul said, in me, in my flesh, there's no good thing. But what I'm saying to you is, on the inside of you and me, there is a new creation. There's a Spirit. That's where you're changed. Instead of acting, see, that's a point of that I could make a decision. Instead of acting on the motivation of the flesh, I instead took a moment and I said, wait a minute. Is there something else in me that would like to speak? Is there another voice in me? And as I waited a moment, yes, as a matter of fact, on the inside of me, it's called by Ezekiel a still small voice. A still small voice, very quiet voice said, is that what Jesus would do? Well, I had to think about it. No, that's probably not what Jesus would do. He probably wouldn't drive over the neighbor's trash can and say, heck with you. That's probably not what Jesus would do. And as I considered that, then I realized, what would Jesus do, as a matter of fact? And I thought, well, probably what Jesus would do is he'd get out and pick up their trash for them and put it away and not make a big deal about it. And I don't want to do it. But part of me didn't want to do it. You know what part didn't want to do it? The flesh. But there was a part of me that did want to do it. And you know what part did want to do it? The Spirit on the inside. That part that's in union with Christ. It's not a theory. It's not an idea. It's not an abstract something. It's a reality for a Christian. You are in union with Christ, and He lives in you. And so Christ, living in me, said, let's get out. The two of us, Jesus and me, let's get out and just pick up the trash for Him. I didn't want to do it. You think I don't want to be dirty? I don't want to touch anybody else's trash either. It was not clean, it was dirty, and it was messy, and it was yucky, and I didn't want to touch it, but I did. I picked it all up, put it back in the bag, tied it shut like it should have been in the first place, put it back in the can, straightened up the can, put it back where, and then I went and parked my truck. And, you know, I had at that moment, and I'm not saying I always do it perfectly, but at that moment, and I'm using this as an example to motivate you and me, at that moment I made a decision to walk in the Spirit. And by walking in the Spirit, by being led by the Spirit that was on the inside of me, I did not fulfill the desires of the flesh. And I let Jesus live in me. And I had a kind of a spiritual satisfaction knowing that, at least in that case, I did the right thing. But I'm leaving myself a little opening, say I haven't always done the right thing. But let's all stand up to that. You get the point.
Jesus!